Hi there. So the present lecture series is about pericyclic reactions. So what are pericyclic reactions? How these reactions are different from normal reactions? And what are the synthetic applications of these reactions? So here we'll discuss introduction, principle, and all problems based on pericyclic reactions with a new perspective. So here are some problems on principles of pericyclic reactions. Problem 1. Which of the following statement is true for pericyclic reactions? A. Pericyclic reactions occur by way of ionic intermediates. B. Pericyclic reactions occur by way of radical intermediates. C. Pericyclic reactions involve multiple steps. D. Reactive intermediates are not formed in the pericyclic reactions. Problem 2. Which of the following is not a pericyclic reaction? A. A nucleophilic reaction. B. Acyclotropic rearrangements. C. Electrocyclic reactions. D. Cycloaddition. Please answer in the comments. So for the pericyclic reactions, as the name suggests, these are the reactions that proceeds by cyclic shifting of electrons in one step or in concerted way. So these reactions may have series of simultaneous bond breaking and bond making steps, but all occurs in one step. So these reactions are different from normal reactions. So in normal reactions, there is an electrophile and a nucleophile. And electrons are always transferred from nucleophile to electrophile. In presence of some catalyst or some intermediate, we get product. But what happens in pericyclic reactions, the flow of electron is not one way, but it is two ways, or it is both ways, or it is in cyclic way. And that does not need any catalyst, does not have any intermediate, and does not have any suitable solvent system. So basically this reaction does not need any external force from outside. But these reactions are initiated either by thermal energy, heat, or photoenergy, or by photons. So these reactions may be photo-initiated reactions or thermal-initiated reactions. So these reactions does not have any intermediate. Intermediate is not there, but transition state is there. So transition state in the form of very short-lived and is not isolable and is not detected by any spectroscopic technique. So they say there is no transition state, there is no intermediate in this reaction, but transition state is there that finally forms the product. So these are very simple type of reactions, very neutral type of reactions that have only simple electronic rearrangement that can do three things like single bonds are formed, double bonds are formed, or bonds are broken. And these reactions does not involve any addition, substitution, or elimination of charged species, does not involve any charged species anywhere. Some reactions use catalyst, and there are some exceptions, but these are the reactions that normally have only electronic rearrangement. So in this way, these reactions are very different from normal reactions, and these reactions studied separately in organic chemistry and forms a major part of organic chemistry. And these are the reactions that have huge applications in synthetic chemistry or asymmetric synthesis, and very important branch of chemistry.
So to understand how does or why does pericyclic reactions occur actually? So we need to understand the conjugation and the formation of sigma bond and pi bonds, how these bonds are formed. So in sp2 hybridized system, there is one s and two p orbitals hybridized, and one pz orbital is left to be hybridized. So three sp2 hybridized orbitals are in one plane, in xy plane, and one pz orbital is in z axis. So this p orbital overlaps sideways to form pi bond, and this is actually pi electron density, and this is how these pi bonds are formed. So if we see in conjugated systems like butadiene, 1,3-butadiene, so in here all have pz orbital perpendicular to the carbon chain or carbon skeleton, and these all pz orbital forms a tunnel or a channel that freely float all the pi electron density. So these are the reason for the pericyclic reactions to occur.
So where does pericyclic reactions take place? Pericyclic reactions are the special properties of the conjugated systems. So as we know, conjugated systems are like alternate single and double bonds, where we have double bond that does not behave like double bond and single bond does not behave like single bond, and have the wavelength in between, that is approximately 1.39 to 1.45 angstrom. But all the carbons in the system are sp2 hybridized, where one s and 2p orbital px and py depart, and one left pz orbital is perpendicular to this planar arrangement, and this pz orbital is actually responsible for pericyclic reactions. Because this pz orbital is the orbital, or it behaves like a channel or a tunnel perpendicular to the conjugated system that facilitate electrons to freely float, that let them freely float throughout the system. So these are the responsible things here: pi electrons, pz orbital, and their symmetry. Overall, their symmetry plays an important role in pericyclic chemistry. Because of this symmetry things, there is stereospecificity in these reactions. These reactions are highly stereospecific, and this stereospecificity is the main characteristic of these reactions. Because of this stereospecificity, these reactions are hugely applied in synthetic chemistry or in asymmetric synthesis. Because by these reactions only we can get pure enantiomer or stereoisomer, not the ratios of two stereoisomers. That is very tough to isolate or purify. So these reactions have large application because of their stereospecificity. So stereochemistry is studied parallel in these pericyclic reactions. And stereochemistry of wave functions, stereochemistry of HOMO and LUMO is very important, because matching of stereochemistry of HOMO and LUMO, only then these reactions take place. So these reactions, all these aspects will be studied further.
Answer true or false for problem 3. A. Substitution, addition or elimination of charged species. They can be performed in pericyclic way. B. We must have a conjugating group on reactant of pericyclic reaction. True or false? C. The stereochemistry of each component is retained faithfully to produce only one enantiomer or stereoisomer. D. Pericyclic reactions does not generally need catalyst or suitable solvent system. Please write in the comments.
So the next lecture will discuss FMO approach or frontier molecular orbital approach, and the sketching of pi molecular orbitals and symmetry properties of HOMO and LUMO for the 1,3-butadiene, 1,3,5-hexadiene allyl systems.